Hey guys, JP here. Today we're going to be talking about body weight and what I feel is the best approach in terms of controlling your body weight in the lead up to powerlifting competitions or kind of any strength sport really, to be as competitive as possible. Now it's no secret that I prefer to train heavy and employ weight manipulation and water cuts in order to make my weight class. So I compete in the 66 kilo class, but I often joke around with friends saying that I only weigh 66 kilos probably about 1 hour per year. To be honest, I'm probably under 70 kilos for probably about 5 or 6 days per year. And for the most part, I'm well over my weight class and I train there and I cut from there. So today I'm going to be talking to you about why I feel that that's the best approach and really why being heavier is better. Okay, so to gather an appreciation for why I feel that being heavier is the best approach to being competitive in the sport of powerlifting, we're first off going to need to establish one idea. And that is that being heavier means you lift more. That's pretty simple to understand. That's the very reason that the sport of powerlifting is split into weight classes, because a 100 kilo guy is going to lift more than a 66 kilo guy. So the sport's split into weight classes because it's well understood that being heavier is better. Now the first thing we need to understand is that body weight doesn't scale with strength in a linear fashion. That is, there isn't a direct proportion between strength and your total. So what I mean is this. So on this scale we've got body weight, on this scale we've got your total. It doesn't look like this. That's incorrect. So by doubling your body weight, you're not going to double your strength. It more or less looks something like this. Where the heavier you get, the less beneficial being heavier becomes. Okay, so various formulas such as the Wilks calculator is used to compare people of different body weight that takes this into consideration. So that's the first thing. We need to understand that being heavier is better and it doesn't scale exactly with body weight. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is a comparison between two lifters, one who weighs 66 kilos, one who weighs 70 kilos. I'm using this as an example because that's what I weigh and that's what I do. And it's to show you and give you guys an appreciation for how beneficial and powerful this really can be. So we've got two guys, one that weighs 66 kilos, one that weighs 70 kilos. Now it's important to understand that their body weights are completely equalized. That is, let's say it's off the same amount of food, the same amount of sleep, the same amount of hydration. It's as equated as possible. But one guy genuinely weighs 4 kilos more than the other guy. Now, if you take a comparison of their Wilks coefficient, which I'll put a link in the description about what the Wilks coefficient is. It's a scale used to compare people with different body weights. The Wilks coefficient, if you weigh exactly 66, is this. Your Wilks coefficient, if you weigh 70 kilos, happens to be this. Now, if we divide the 66 kilo coefficient by the 70 kilo coefficient, we get this ratio, 1.0478. Which means that the 70 kilo guy, in theory, should total 4.78% more than the 66 kilo guy, according to that formula. Now, another way to compare lifters of different body weights is to use a really simple one, and that is assuming that body weight to total scales in the proportion to the power of 2 on 3. I know it's a bit mathsy, but just stick with me. So here, if we square 66, then cube root it, we get this value. If we apply that formula, we get this value. Same thing, if we divide this number by that number, we get this ratio, which is 1.0400. Which indicates that being 70 kilos will give you about a 4% benefit. Now, which of these is the most accurate doesn't really matter. Let's chuck it something in between and just say 4.4%. That is, weighing 70 kilos means you'll lift 4.4% more. To give you an idea of what that means in a real situation, a 66 kilo guy who totals 600 kilos, by weighing 70 kilos, their total might be 625. You literally get 25 kilos extra on your total just by weighing 4 kilos more. Now, if these two guys go into a competition, all the 70 kilo guy has to do is temporarily lose body weight, lose 4 kilos of fluid, which really isn't that hard to do. And I'll send a link in the description again of my how to cut tutorial. But all they need to do is cut 4 kilos of fluids, weigh in at 66 temporarily, and then quickly rehydrate and refeed back up to their true weight of 70 kilos, then these two guys competing against each other, although they've both weighed in at the same value, 66 kilo class, this guy already has a 4.5% benefit on their total. because as we established before, being heavier is better. I hope that made sense. Let's move on. Okay, so while it's clear that I'm a big advocate of weight cutting, there are many lifters, many coaches, many systems that highly discourage this idea of weight cutting. And all to it to them, they've got their own reasons and their own justifications, and I can see where they're coming from. Weight cutting can be stressful, it can severely impact on performance. Like you might get an extra 25 kilos in your total, but if it costs you 35 kilos on your total because of stress, because of reduced performance due to the weight cut, because of other factors, then it's simply not worth it. But I'm just assuming that both lifters perform to the best of their abilities on the day, that being heavier tends to be better. Again, weight cutting isn't a method I would recommend for many people. Again, it's very advanced. Like a 4 kilo weight cut, like I said before, isn't very difficult when you're experienced, but it can be very stressful earlier on in your career, and the impacts probably wouldn't be worth it. And really, like, you only get about 20 to 25 kilos on your total with a big 4 kilo weight cut, which might be worthwhile if you're only competing locally, or if you're not really fighting for any kind of records or for any kind of placings at any major championships. So this is only something that I would recommend for a high level lifter. I hope that's kind of given you a bit of insight as to why I feel that weight cutting is the best method, why I believe that being heavier is better. If you've got any questions, throw them in the comments section below. Otherwise, send me a private message if you really need to. I'm more than happy to share with you a little bit more information on this topic. Otherwise, I'll be posting hopefully a new video in the next couple of weeks. I'll try and make this a little bit more of a regular thing. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button. And as I said, throw your comments and questions below. Cheers. Okay, so you know heavier is better. Just to give you a bit of an indication as to what I weigh, I'm going to jump on the scales now. Now it's the middle of the day, so this probably isn't a fair weigh-in. But just to give you an idea as to how seriously I take this, there is 72.55. Now if you minus the weight of the phone, there it is. Should be about 72.4, maybe 72.45. It's currently the middle of September. I don't plan on competing again until middle of December, so I've got about 3 months. My morning weight's been about 71, and to be honest, I'm probably not going to lose any real weight until about a week out when I commence my weight cut. So heavier is better. Joey, come back! How the fuck did you get a bicycle? Holy crap, I'm running like a bicycle person. Oh my god.